All right, let's continue on here. So we just got done with variables, and now we're going to look at functions. So, oops, remember, always put that hashtag first. Functions. Okay, so in R we can create these functions. These are operations that we can program to do a specific task that we want with the data. We've used a few of R's built-in functions above, but we're going to create some of our own as well. These usually take the form of, I'm going to hashtag this out. So for example, f, and then our argument 1, argument 2, and then etc. So, and this is, let's add a little more annotation here. So this is where f is the name of our custom function, and argument 1, argument 2, are the different argument conditions that we are asking the function, let me spell that right, function to evaluate. Okay, so here's an example. So in terms of like built-in functions, we can do exp, which is exponent, and you can see that these functions pop up in RStudio, and you can select them, right? And it also, on the right-hand side, it will tell you kind of what they do. And you can push F1 for additional help on these functions. So if I press F1 over on the right-hand side of help here, it'll pop up how you use it, what it does, etc. So it's kind of nice and built in that way. So we're going to do just the regular exponent. And as you can see, it already put an extra parenthesis in. You want to make sure that your parentheses match. You should have always one open and one closed. If you have too many, it will not like that. So we're just going to do exponent or exponential for 2, and we get 7.389056. We can do another example for tangents. So we do tan 2, and we get tangent of 2. We can do log, and then we'll do log of, no, it's just log regular, 2. No, we'll do log base 12. Let's do 12. And we get 4 or 2.48, etc. So in the examples above that we just did, there's only a single argument. However, a lot of functions take multiple arguments. For example, the log function, even though we just did log 12, it defaults to log base 2. However, we can change that by adding a second argument. So if we do, let's do log, and then we're going to hit F1 to pull it up. Why aren't you pulling up? Log, open, F1. Oh, it's already up, that's why. Log. So as you can see here, it'll tell you what our arguments are. And X is the number that we want the log, and then base is what the base is, whether it's base 2, etc. And so we're going to do log with X equals 12 and base equals 4. And so if we run that, oops, not X minus 12, X equals 12. Let's try that out again. Boom. Then we have log base 4 of 12 is 1.79. And so in this example, we're taking out the log as we did above, but we're adding that second argument. If we are using the arguments of the function in their default order, we can omit the names and just add values. So, for example, if we do log, oops, 12, comma 4, it's going to, since we're using them in the order that log is programmed, as you can see here down at the bottom, it gives us the same number. So you don't have to call out, name the variables, only if you're doing them not in the precise order, excuse me. So let's create our own function. So let's do all right. So in this function, we're going to add 1 to whatever number we put in the function. All right. So our function, we're going to call it example function, and we're going to store it just like we did with those variables. And we're going to say function of x and y are our 2 arguments that we want within this function. And we're going to put this little, the little curly brackets. And we're going to say x plus 1. So it's taking whatever we put in for x and adds 1. And then we're going to actually have our second number for y. We're going to put y plus 10. So this function actually adds 1 to a number and 10 to a second number. Let's make sure. Okay. And then we just hit enter, and we're going to run this. And so over here, you see that we have a new category called functions, and it's our example function. And it tells us that it takes x and y as an input. And so, let's see. Now let's see. Now our function actually comes up as well. So in our, not only the R pre-programmed functions and things are available when you start typing in, but also ones that you create. So we're gonna just do our example function, and we're gonna put in a value for x. So we'll say 2. We'll put a value in for y, and we'll say 4, and let's run this function. Boom. So just like we asked our function to do, we defined our function as needing the variables x and y, and that the function is x plus 1, so we have to put it in a collection. So x plus 1 and y plus 10. And so when we ran it, we got 3 and 14, just like our function was defined to do. And so that's the basics of functions. We can make more complex functions, but for the most part, we probably aren't going to use them super heavy in this course, but I just wanted to kind of cover them in case they do come up. So that's all for this lecture. Next lecture, we will cover data structures.